I love Donald Trump. God damn it, there I said it. I love Donald Trump. So, you know, if you want to go ahead and unsubscribe from this channel, and if you want to call me a piece of shit and all that, please do so right now. I love Donald Trump. Yes, I love Donald Trump. Do I agree with Donald Trump? Do I agree? No. I think he's pretty crazy. I think he's pretty crazy, and he's shown racism and sexism, and he's displayed behaviors and actions that are not exactly very conscious. Okay, so no, I don't agree with him. And if I was in a room right now, if he was here right now, we'd be going at it. We'd be going at it. But you know what? At the end of it, I'd give him a hug. I'd give him a hug. Why would I give him a hug? Because if he got these hugs when he was growing up, if he got the love, if he grew up in a loving, with loving parents, in a loving family, in a loving society, you know, then he wouldn't be this crazy with all this crazy psycho wacky ways of being. He would just simply be very decent, and he would be very loving. He would be very loving. So seeing that this is the predicament in which Donald Trump is in, then I think the most useful thing I can do is to give him a hug. That's probably the most useful thing in the present moment, is to give him a hug. But that doesn't mean I agree with him. You know, I could love Donald Trump and at the same time be campaigning against him. Doesn't mean I don't love him. Just because you don't agree with someone doesn't mean you don't love them. And this is what I want to bring into your attention. We're using Donald Trump here as a template, okay? Because we all have the people that we hate. Like, you know, for me, I grew up hating Assad, the president of Syria, you know, Bashar Assad. And I still have resentment for him because of what he's doing in Syria, and his dad. We all have this person where we hate, we like absolutely hate their guts. You know, and it doesn't have to be like someone we know specific, or it doesn't have to be like a famous person, but someone we know directly. You know, we all have that, right? And what I'm, I guess, trying to portray here is that you can disagree with someone. You can even put someone behind bars in prison, okay, and still love them, and still love them, and it's a delicate balance. It's like, how do you love someone but then put them behind bars and fight them? Well, the example that I'll use here is from the Bhagavad Gita. The example of Arjuna fighting his cousins. Okay, so quickly here, just to give you a little background of the story. Arjuna is this good guy, right? And he's gotta fight his cousins, the bad guys, right? Now, Arjuna, he does good things, you know, he's generally what you would consider a good guy, a good person. And then his cousins are like the bad guys, right? They want power, they don't care about people, etc. And so he has to fight his cousins, and he has to fight his teachers, and he has to fight people he knows in the battle. And he feels disheartened, you know, he's a good guy. He doesn't want to fight his cousins, doesn't want to fight his teachers, you know, he's a good guy. But so Krishna, which is a physical incarnation of God, so think of Krishna, God, he becomes his advisor. And he tells him that, hey, look, you're gonna have to fight. You're gonna have to fight your cousins. You're gonna have to fight your cousins. I know you love them, but you're gonna have to fight them. Fight your cousins. Do what you need to do. If somebody needs, you know, if you fight your cousins, it means you're gonna kill them. It means kill them if you have to, right? But don't forget that they are also God. That this is God. Like this. Don't keep them out of your heart. In other words, you keep them in your heart, and you do the thing that needs to be done to maintain the harmony of the universe. And in order for Arjuna to maintain the harmony of the universe at that specific battle, in that specific time period, he needs to fight his cousins because they're putting things out of harmony with the Tao. But he can still keep them in his heart and still love them and still feel compassion towards them. You see? And that's a perfect example. Just because you disagree with someone and you might even go to war with them, does not mean you don't love them. And here is why, and here's how Krishna explains it. All of creation, all of existence, you have to really step back here. You have to look and step outside of time and space, all the way back. Okay, you have to really step further and further and further. If you look at all of creation, they call it Maya. In Hinduism, it's Maya, it's illusion. And there's another word for it, Lila. Lila means divine act, divine play. And so all of creation, all of time and space, call it the amusement park, is from the divine's perspective, play, divine act, divine play. And the way the game starts is the divine, the God, the isness, the one, the all, forgets itself, separates itself into little pieces, completely forgets itself, and through billions of years of time and space progression, it remembers who it is. So in the case of Donald Trump, he's not a conscious being. A conscious being would not be saying the shit that he's saying and doing the stuff that he's doing and having all these crazy policies, all this racism and sexism. A conscious being wouldn't do that. He would not do that. Simple as that. If you're a conscious being, you would not do that. He's not conscious, but guess what? He's God too. And he's working his way back. The soul I'm talking about, the soul that is inside this character called Donald Trump, is also working his way back into God, into self-realization. When you realize everybody's on the path, like Hitler's on the path. Yes, Hitler, same thing. And my goodness, he's got a long way to go. He's got a long way to go. In Buddhist cosmology, they would tell you that he's now in hell. And he's got to come back, because in Buddhist cosmology, if you make it to human, you're almost there. You're not too far off. But if you fuck up, you go back to hell. And now you've got to make your way up to being a human again. So I'm not in the cosmic council, not a cosmic government. I don't know how it works. Okay, I'm just giving you certain ideas by certain people who certainly think that they have a hand in government. Okay, so yeah, Donald Trump, for example, he's also a consciousness. He's also making his way back into God realization, and it may take him what? I mean, seeing how he is now, it's gonna take him a long time before he, you know, he gets to those places where he's like, what the fuck? Like, what am I saying all this? Okay, so that awareness of how it all is, of how the game is, of how this Leela is, how the divine act and the divine play is, that's called compassion. That's what compassion is. Compassion is seeing how it all works, how it all is. Seeing that, oh, it's God is doing this on purpose. This is all within the mind of God, and everybody's God and everyone's God. And, you know, you can call them people who are like doing evil shit. Call them our dark brothers and dark sisters. They've been so away from the light, and they probably have so long of a journey still to go in this cosmic journey that we're all on before they too shall become God realized. They too shall remember the light within. They too shall remember and become who they really truly are. This is brilliant. It's a brilliant game. God is the God, the light, the divine. You're brilliant. You're magnificent. I mean, this is brilliant. Wow. Really, like, this is wow, good job. It takes like millions and billions of years. You literally get lost in your own game for millions and billions of years before you remember who you are. Really brilliant, okay? So, seeing that perspective, keeping that perspective at all times, you know, you can call it this is the perspective of the void. You know, this is when you go into the void, into the formlessness, into just the Godhead, seeing how everything works. Then you come back into form, and then you realize that this is all a game, but it's called controlled folly. You make believe like what you're doing matters, but you know it doesn't. So you make believe that this is all real, but you know deep down it's not. It's just like acting in a movie. You know, while the camera is on you, you gotta make believe you're the character. The best actors, they're the character when the camera is on and it's playing. You know? So you make believe, right now the camera is on us, you make believe that, okay, this is the way it is. There's good, there's evil. You know, Hitler is like fucking killing millions of people, so we better stop his ass. We better go and get him before he takes over the world and kills everybody. We do that. We do all of that. You know, we do all of that from this place of understanding that it's just the way it is. It's the game. And you act out based on your role in the game. So in Arjuna's case, his role was to stop his cousins. And he didn't want to. He was disheartened. But Krishna, God, comes and says, no, you've got to do it. You've got to do it. You see, in the same way, like Hitler needed to be stopped. And in the same way that Donald Trump, you know, I'm hoping that Donald Trump doesn't last. I'm hoping that he doesn't go for another presidency. Okay? But if we're in the same room and we're talking and we're disagreeing, I'm giving him a hug at the end of the day. Because maybe, just maybe, this hug can bring out the light that is already within him. Because that's when you know who you are, you know who everybody is. If you know you're the light, you're the love, you're the awareness, you're the energy, then you just gotta look into anybody's eyes and see the exact same place. It's the exact same place. So when you know yourself well, then you can no longer look at even these criminals and murderers. You can't even look at them the same way anymore. You just look at them, you recognize who they really are. They don't know who they really are. If you think Donald Trump really knows who he is? Fuck no. If he knew who he is, would not have all this, again, all these not so conscious policies and views, okay? So, in other words, you still play your game. You still do your good deeds, and you still stop the bad guys, and you still spread goodness and light. But you spread it from a position of understanding, of compassion, that this is the way it is. This is the game we're playing. This is Leela. This is the way it goes. And I've just got to do what I've got to do. I've got to be Arjuna here. I've got to go fight my cousins. Okay? So you can think of love as acceptance of all of what is, because you've created all of this. You're all of it. You are. That's Advaita Vedanta, non-duality, that's a non-dualistic view of the world. And that's the highest view of the world you can perceive of while you're within the illusion, while you're within the Maya. You see? So that's about it. I wanted to just instigate you guys a little bit and get you riled up maybe with the title. And really, it's the game. We're playing it. We're all on the path to enlightenment. And speaking of, I have a mini report, 11 pages. I don't want to call it a book because it's just 11 pages. A report that I compiled. I called it 7 Pillars of Enlightenment. I wrote it because I wanted to have a systematic approach of keeping myself conscious and working towards enlightenment, working towards the light, working towards nirvana, mukti. So if you want to download the report, it's for free. You'll see the link for it in the description. I'll make sure to leave it in the comments as well. So check it out. It's pretty cool. That's about it. I love you guys, and I mean, if you've been watching the video up until now, there's a good chance you know who you are. Like, you know, so when I say I love you, you know who you are, and it's all cool, and it's all roses, and yeah, I love you, and God bless you. Until next time, may the force be with you.